Hey guys, welcome back to another action figure review. Today we're checking out a new series by Jada Toys, the Ultra Street Fighter 2 collection. Up for review today we have Ryu in a stylish box shaped like an arcade cabinet with the art of his stage in the background. We have a large window showing off the accessories as well as a picture of the character's face and name underneath. On the back of the box we have a few pictures of released figures with their names underneath and a menu selection style picture with every character from the Street Fighter 2 series. On the side we have a bit more artwork of the different characters along with a small bit of info on Ryu in a few different languages. Since the box is oddly shaped, removing it from the bottom allows us to slide out the cardboard insert and plastic shell inside. We can see that it's heavily taped down. After removing the tape, we finally have access to the figure, leaving behind a nice background of Ryu's stage, and the figure and the accessories. A classic Street Fighter figure favorited by many, Ryu is one of the main playable characters across many of the Street Fighter games. Jada Toys seemingly popped out of nowhere and introduced us to a new series of 6-inch scale Street Fighter figures, starting off with Ryu. Ryu is an experienced martial artist whose main goal is to become the strongest that he can be. In order to perfect his skills, he enters the World Warrior tournament where he defeats new fighters all over the world. After winning the tournament, he doesn't stick around for the winner's ceremony, as he's already on the path looking for the next fighter to improve his ability. Ryu is shown here in his classic gear and Player 1 colors from the Ultra Street Fighter 2 version of the game. Let's check out some details on the figure. Large bushy eyebrows, unkempt short hair, and a large red bandana cover up the details of the top of the head. Large eyes are painted on with that dot matrix printer effect that we commonly see on newer figures, with the placement being slightly off, mostly only noticeable on camera. A small nose, square chin, and a mouth and a frown wrap up the detail on the face in a bored neutral expression. On the side we have a few more details like the ear sculpted in, and more of that layered messy hair. On the back, the headband ties together with two strands hanging down, with a bit of sloppy paint near the hair. Large muscles bulge out of the white karate uniform with its sleeves ripped off. The white cloth has a bit of heavy threaded texture, as well as a folded collar all around the sides. The skin has a slightly rough texture to it, with the light amount of muscle fibers showing through the skin. On the back we can see more of that heavy threaded texture effect on the cloth, as well as more tears in the arms and a few wrinkles sculpted in. More bulging muscles are sculpted into the shoulders, with the biceps having small vein details all over them. Down to the arms we have more muscles and vein effects, with the wrist and back of the hands protected by large red padding, wrapped around the closed fisted hand. We have a black belt wrapping around the white uniform, textured in a fine cloth detail with more small ridges. In yellow lettering, one of the belt strands reads Wind, Forest, Fire, and Mountain. Underneath we can see where the shirt ends, just openly floating. Looking over to the back, not much detail here, but we can see more of that cloth effect and the rest of the belt wrapping around the waist. Continuing on with the karate outfit, we have more of the same cloth style for the pants, textured in that heavy threaded effect with a few wrinkles in the sculpting. Towards the bottom of the legs, the pants are torn and ripped with the entire ankle area shredded apart. Wrapping up the detail of the figure with the bare feet. We have the standard looking bare foot, with each toe sculpted having their own detailed toenail. Let's take a look at the articulation. We have a ball jointed head, allowing a full rotation and range of head articulation. We also have a neck that can bend up and down to get even more range out of the head. A butterfly joint at the shoulder, allowing you to bend it forward and back for a greater range. With the outfit here made out of a very soft plastic. We have shoulders that open, and can easily make a full rotation, a bicep that can rotate, double jointed elbows with a very tight range that allows you to tuck in the arms very well, wrists that rotate and bend up and down. We have a ball jointed chest that allows a full range of motion and rotation, but the shirt is going to restrict a lot of motion even if it is made out of a soft plastic. We also have another ball joint at the waist, allowing us to get some great combined range with the chest to bend backwards and even forward with a great amount of range. As well as full rotation at the waist. We have legs that can fully open and bend forward, with the sculpting at the backside blocking a clean backwards range. A cut at the thigh for rotation. Double jointed knees that bend backwards. Ankles that rotate and bend up and down. And the foot that twists. Jada Toys' new series of Street Fighter figures are described as being in the 1/12-inch scale, measuring at exactly 6 inches tall. This makes the scale perfect to combine with other figures sharing that same 6-inch scale. Across many different series of 6-inch figures, Ryu fits right in, scaling very well with other figures. Although next to McFarlane's 7-inch scale, we can see a very noticeable difference in height, even across different game series. Even next to NECA's 7-inch scale, a lot of these older gaming figures are just too tall to fit in naturally with the standard 6-inch scale. Starting off the accessories, we have an alternate head in an angry expression showing off the teeth and an open mouth. The heads can be easily swapped out by simply pulling off the head and easily popping in the new one. The alternate head on mine was painted much more accurately than my default head, and makes the figure much more lively when displayed. We have a very nice hadoken effect. It's made out of a clear rubbery plastic, with the pair of blue hands in the hadoken pose detailed on the inside. And we have a stand for the hadoken effect, with 2 points of articulation that pegs into the bottom of the effect to give it that floating look. And to match the hadoken, we have a pair of hands in the iconic hadoken pose, each able to rotate up and down to match the pose. Just like the head, the hands can be easily pulled off, with the new hands pegging right in. A very impressive first look for me into the Jada Toys Street Fighter figures. The likeness of the character is accurate, and there's a lot to compliment for Jada Toys' first venture into the 6-inch scale of figures. They really did a lot of things right, including using a soft plastic on the clothing of the figure so it doesn't restrict articulation as much. The joints on the figure work really well. We had a ton of points of articulation, letting us get the maximum range and poses off of this figure, while at the same time feeling very sturdy, a little clicky, and making it very easy to balance the figure in all of its different combat poses. The box it comes with is very nice as well. It's actually a hard decision if I want to pose this out or inside of the box, and I normally throw away the boxes. With an alternate head, hands, and a hadoken effect with the stand, the accessories seem very obvious to pair with a character like Ryu, and it's appreciated that we did get them. You just can't have an iconic character without their iconic attacks, and they went all out giving us a stand for the fireball. It's rare that we get effects with our figures, but even more rare to get stands for them when we do. Again, I have to mention all of the articulation. The figure feels great to move around, repose, and even balance. If there was one thing to take away from Jada Toys' Street Fighter series, it's how good all the articulation feels. With only a few small complaints, the biggest issue on this figure is the application of paint, as it seems that the default head has an issue where the 3D printed face effects weren't properly aligned. I've seen way worse cases than mine online, but luckily mine came out decent. If this is the level of quality that Jada Toys can keep up with in its other releases, then I'm hooked. At the price point, I honestly can't complain. These $25 figures make some great desk toys. They feel high quality, and have a very smart use of paint. There's not much of it, but when it's used, it makes the most impact on the figure. There are other Street Fighter figures out there, but at a way higher price and at a larger scale, they're pretty much in a different category for me. The 6-inch Jada Toys figures fits much better in scale with the other brands, especially those who want to recreate that Marvel vs. Capcom look. I cannot say how great these figures are for the price. They're almost perfect. If the paint was more accurate, these figures would be flawless, and honestly, that seems like something that can get fixed. Jada Toys has absolutely made an impact with these figures, and they're already teasing more figures from different games, so they're definitely one to keep an eye on. If you're on the fence, pick up one of these Ryus. It's a very impressive figure for the price. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Leave a comment letting me know how you like this figure, subscribe or share this video with your friends to help out the channel.